Welcome to Hoystory on Air, Season 2, episode... I got no idea at this point. I apologize. It's been a month. I've been meaning to do these more often. When I can. It's been crazy. So, I got a book out. Books out. Available Kindle, hardcover, paperback are all out now. I submitted the audiobook on Saturday. So it's going to take up to 10 business days. It was a bigger chore, a bigger task than I thought it was. The nice thing is, you go and see, there's all these companies out there that'll help you publish your own book using, Kindle. I think it's called Kindle Direct Publishing. It's basically you're self-publishing it. But you've got to submit to them, printer-ready files. Good news, that's what I do. That's my background. So laying out the book and uploading it and submitting it, all that other sort of stuff, I know how to do. So I've got one last set of corrections to go. That's the other nice thing about it is if you've already bought it, thank you. I would encourage you to go on Amazon and leave a review, preferably 5 stars, maybe 4, or if you really hate it, 1. But the 1-star reviews have to be like really, really bad 1-star reviews. Angry at me for existing, angry at me for not condemning Trump enough, angry at me for condemning Trump too much. Creativity is key there. Audiobook, again, 10 business days. That is what I've been working on. Like I said, there are some corrections. If you've already bought a book, you may see some of them. The nice thing with self-publishing or publishing on demand is I can update, make corrections, and because they don't print, 30,000 copies to start or whatnot. They print them as you order them. So buy one. QR code's there. You can take a picture out with your phone. Lower the price of ebooks now is just $5, $4.99. $5. Buy an ebook. Buy a printed book. Paperback's $15. Hardcover's $30. Share them with your friends. No, don't share them with your friends. Buy them yourself. Got some things to talk about. Thing number 1. I joke in the acknowledgments that, kind of sort of joke, that if fact checkers hadn't been as horrible as they are at their job, then the book that I just published would have been about this. This is 60 Minutes broadcast from not yesterday, not the previous, but the Sunday before, about California's high-speed rail train. And it's an absolute disaster. Originally approved by voters in 2008, it was supposed to be running from LA to San Francisco by now. Turns out that as of right now, it's going to run from Bakersfield to Merced, which you're never going to make back your money on people who want to go between Bakersfield and Merced. Even for the part that's from Bakersfield to Merced, it's not going to happen. So, pretty good CBS 60 Minutes report on this. I encourage you to watch it. You can go on their website. It's like 13 minutes and change this segment is. Some interesting things about it. This is an excerpt from the article that accompanies it, but I think it's basically just a transcript. What happened to California's plans? Rep. Vince Fong, a Republican representing California's Central Valley, sits on the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. He used to be a state representative, a state assemblyman or state senator or something like that, but he replaced Kevin McCarthy, who, interestingly enough, was one of those who, when Kevin McCarthy, former House GOP Speaker, when he was in the California State Assembly, he was one of the people on the original 2008 ballot measure that opposed it, that wrote the opposition to. So Fong's representing his district now. He says, we're now in 2026. There are no trains. There's no track laid. It was a complete bait and switch. It became clear after voters approved the plan in 2008 the specifics hadn't been worked out, Fong said. California Secretary of Transportation Tokes Amishaken. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name. That's another thing when you're doing an audiobook. It's like, I know all these words. I know these names. How to pronounce some of them? That's sometimes difficult. Even if you know how to pronounce it, saying them sometimes difficult. Anyways, who's relatively new to the job, agrees with that point. He's been left to answer for his predecessors. Says, I don't think the voters fully understood, and here's the point, and neither did we in the public sector, that it was what it was going to take to actually get this project delivered. It's not the members of the public's responsibility to understand. It's your responsibility as the ones pushing it to explain it. And frankly, you go back and look, and I'll get to that in a second. This is what the High-Speed Rail Authority is doing nowadays. It posts stuff like this. So this was from the April 9th, which would have been Thursday or Friday. They've appointed Antonio Bolina as their Chief of Infrastructure Maintenance. What is there to maintain at this point? There is no trains, no tracks. They've built these, what we've been calling these Stonehenge things in the Central Valley, bridges and aqueducts, or not aqueducts, but bridges and overpasses and underpasses that this train is eventually supposed to run on. Right now, there's nothing to maintain. Why even bother filling this position? I'll kind of give you the answer to that one. The answer is in this next post from April 4th, 5 days earlier. This is something that they regularly post on X. This is something they regularly post on Facebook. 16,000 jobs created, 1,600 daily work. It's a jobs. This is all for the purpose of this is construction jobs, and high pay. They aren't paying these guys cheap. These are high-paying construction jobs. Great if you can get it. I understand. Great if you, but as a taxpayer, who cares? Yeah, again, you. This is what it is. This was a handout to construction unions, and that's why it continues. Is because all of a sudden, if we don't have 1,600 daily workers dispatched doing this, maybe they could be working on some of the roads or something. It's just absolutely, but that's what they do. So I went back and looked at the California general election for this Prop 1A, Safe, Reliable, High-Speed Passenger Train Bond Act. It's going to do this without raising taxes. That's the argument in favor. It's interesting to take a look back at this. It really is. Because who was right and who was wrong? We're nearly 18 years after this was passed, because it was passed in November 4th, 2008 by, 53 to 47%. It's actually 52 point something, but 53 to 47% got this passed. Who has been more right? 10 years of study and planning have gone into preparing for construction, financing, and operation of a California bullet train network modeled on popular, reliable, and successful systems in Europe and Asia. Their record shows the high-speed trains deliver both in service and economy. Apparently 10 years study wasn't enough, because originally this thing was going to cost $30 million to go from LA to San Francisco. And now we're getting $36 million to go from Bakersfield to Merced. The number of people that want to go to Bakersfield or Merced is, and then, you got to Uber on either end. even if you wanted to stay in those communities. I don't think either of those communities have the little electric bikes or electric scooters that you can get around with. But they spent 10 years. So from 1998, they were studying, planning, and preparing for this, and they screwed it up. This was just, they're just thinking, oh, yay, rainbows and stuff. And then I saw this. The signers of the ballot arguments against Proposition 1A are habitual opponents of transportation improvements. Their claims are wrong and their data is simply made up. Who's closer? The antis. The antis were so much closer to being right than the pros on this one. Here's the rebuttal argument. Same politicians who can't solve our budget crisis and want to raise your taxes think they can run their own government railroad. Even they admit this high-cost train hits taxpayers for $40 billion. It's 40. Even so, that's just a partial payment by taxpayers. No guarantee it will be completed. Nailed it. Project wasted $58 million on consultants, European travel, and fancy brochures, and now billions more may be spent without laying an inch of track. Money we'd have to repay even if the project failed. The special interest backing Prop 1A are notorious for their multi-billion-dollar cost overruns. Oh my gosh, one side nailed this and the other side didn't. Buy my current book because I want this to be my next book. I really do. But it's going to take a lot more work, a lot more research, a lot more interview. I'm going to have to interview people. Hopefully they'll talk to me. I was just looking at some of the people who, were on each side of these arguments and whatnot. And this is something that you don't get much of, but I am very curious what each side would say about this today. I got an idea of what the anti-side would say. We were right, and looks like you were. The pro side, I'm curious. Oh, did we make a mistake? Oh no, was it something we couldn't have foreseen? Or a couple of the names on this. Let me see if I can find it. But the names on the pro side of this, I'm not sure whether it was on the rebuttal or the argument in favor. Look at them. 2/3 of them were union reps. This is a jobs program. This is not about high-speed rail. This is a jobs program. I'm going to pause here for a moment. We're going to take a deep breath. Easter was a week and a half ago or so. A week ago yesterday. I celebrated that with family. Family came up. We celebrated, went to church. President Trump and some Christians, and I'm not sure if they are, but he claims to be a Christian, went and posted this picture on his Truth Social account. Now, it's nuts. I'm impressed with the quality of the AI image. I mean, that's pretty good AI image. I think they got most of the hands right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it looks like they're slowly solving that problem. But if you create this and you think, yeah, that's the way things are, or that's the way you're nuts, and you aren't a Christian. Trump has pulled this down. Apparently, shared on Truth Social, depicted him as a divine leader. Apparently, Trump went and said, "Oh, I thought he was a doctor." He's lying. No one looks at that and said, "Oh," so it looks at someone in robes with the red, the red sash or whatnot, and "Oh, that's a doctor because that's how doctors look." No. One of these quasi-Christian crazy nut jobs was comparing him on Easter, like, you're just like Jesus, where you were slandered and they tried to kill you and blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, nothing like Jesus. You will know them by their fruits. Trump's fruits, no, not at all. Having said that, once again, my book. I'm going to push this because you need to buy my book. You need to read my book because you'll see things that continue to happen, and the techniques are always the same. They have not come up with a new technique. The techniques I describe in my book about how they go about twisting politics and whatnot and distorting reality continue to be true. So Trump's in this spat with Pope Leo XIV. And again, this was on Palm Sunday, a couple weeks ago. Pope Leo says, God does not listen to prayers of those who wage war. Pope Leo XIV on Palm Sunday sharply condemned war and the use of religion to justify violence. I'm not in favor of religion justifying violence. I don't think that's a good idea. Of course, Islam is all about religion justifying violence. Saying during Mass in St. Peter's Square that God does not listen to the prayers of those who wage war. I kind of expect better of the Pope, since a bunch of the Old Testament is God listening to the prayers of people waging war, often waging war on his orders. Yeah, I don't go to the Pope for global politics or advice on, I'm about as Catholic as Carrie Prejean Bowler is. She's not, she's a nutcase. And then we got this. Pope on Iran, peace not built with mutual threats or death-dealing arms. You know what? Peace is, when it comes to wars between countries, peace is usually dealt with or built on with death-dealing arms. It's the way it works. There was World War I, there was World War II. Peace always comes after death-dealing arms. I looked in vain on the Vatican News website for Pope Leo XIV condemning the Iranian regime's slaughter of protesters back in early April. Numbers estimated between 30 and 40,000 people just slaughtered in the streets. Yeah, there was nothing. Nothing condemning that. Oh no, it's easy to condemn the U.S. and Israel. Condemn Iran? That would suggest that there's something that needs to be done about Iran if you condemned Iran, because that's their government. Apparently we don't want to go there, which is frankly sad. We haven't had a good pope since John Paul II, probably. The German guy, what was his name? He was kind of okay. They don't make him like Pope John Paul II. PolitiFact weighs in. This is today, published today, just a few hours ago. Donald Trump stated on April 12, 2026, in a Truth Social post, Pope Leo XIV thinks it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Pants on fire. So let's look at our analysis here. No, Pope Leo XIV does not support nuclear weapons in Iran or anywhere, despite Trump's statement. If your time is short. Pope Leo XIV has specifically spoken against nuclear weapons and their devastation. The Holy See, the diplomatic representative of the Roman Catholic Church and the Pope, has called for nuclear disarmament before and during Pope Leo XIV's papacy. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I kind of expect that of the Catholic Church. I expect that, frankly, of most churches. Jesus Christ has not returned. And until he does, you can't operate a country like this. You can't suggest, oh no, we're just going to get rid of nuclear arms. And if we set a good example, if we got rid of our nuclear arms, I'm sure China would get rid of theirs. Russia too. Yeah, we have to set an example. that is extremely naive. I mean, almost unbelievable. In June 2025, the Pope called for a world free from nuclear threat and appealed for peace between Iran and Israel. This quote jumped out at me. It's like, the commitment to creating a safer world, free from the nuclear threat, should be pursued through respectful encounter and sincere dialogue to build a lasting peace based on justice, fraternity, and the common good, Leo said. No one should ever threaten the existence of another. Death to America. Death to the great Satan. Death to the little Satan. The Iranian regime is not interested in peace. They are a Islamic death cult seeking to bring back this seventh imam or something and the end of the world. And to do that, it requires them to kill a bunch of Jews. And some Americans too, apparently. It would be nice. You can't negotiate with it. And that's something I hope that Trump is quickly learning through these negotiations in Pakistan or whatnot. You're not going to negotiate that. And that's one of my worries. I'm for regime change in Iran. I think bombing the snot out of them and trying to bring down that country, the country's rulers, is a great thing. I think if we return to an Iran that was more like the 1978 Iran, would be great for the Middle East and the world. My worry is that Trump is going to go halfway and quit before the job is done. I think the job could probably be done without us putting boots on the ground, but we definitely need to give some arms to the Iranian people. We can bomb the snot out of the Besiege and the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps and let the Iranian people with small arms take care of the rest of them. But that's my view. That's where I'm worried about it. But this fact check, our ruling. Trump said Pope Leo XIV thinks it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. The Pope has said the opposite. He has specifically spoken against nuclear weapons and their devastation. The Holy See, the Pope's diplomatic representative, has called for nuclear disarmament before and during Leo's papacy, and in 2017 signed the UN's Treaty on Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. Trump's statement is inaccurate and makes a ridiculous claim. We rated pants on fire. And this is where the fact checkers expose their bias and their intellectual dishonesty. PolitiFact is capable of nuance. They're capable of understanding that what you say and what you do are two different things. I fully expect Pope Leo to say what he has said. Cool with that. I understand it. I understand where he's coming from. But I also understand exactly what's Trump saying, and so does PolitiFact. But they are unwilling to connect the dots because they'd have to give him a mostly true at the very least. Because the only way that Iran doesn't get a nuclear weapon is if the U.S. or Israel, because Europe's frankly shown itself to be impotent in recent weeks, is if the U.S. or Israel stops them. That's the only way. So if you are unwilling to allow the U.S., if you think it's bad that the U.S. and Israel are bombing them and attempting to stop them from getting a nuclear weapon, then you think it's okay. It's like, Eric Swalwell, just minutes before I went on the air, announced that he's resigning from Congress. Good. Apparently there's a lot more where the initial reports came from on his womanizing and sexual assaults and all that other sort of stuff. The only reason he's getting out of there, he says he's still going to fight it, is there's more to come. But if you sit there and you see Eric Swalwell and you say, it's not okay for Eric Swalwell to do that sort of thing, and then you sit by and you're a reporter and you don't report on it, even though you've seen it happening, you know it's happening. if you allow it to go on, then you're tacitly saying it's okay. And that's what Trump's saying here. PolitiFact, understands this. But we're going to, and this is one of the things where if PolitiFact wants to bring in nuance or whatnot to a very clearly said statement to knock it down that's true, to knock it down to half true or false or pants on fire one, they do that. But also if they want to ignore the obvious so that they can give Trump a pants on fire, they do that too. So this is what Trump has said is probably mostly true, because Pope Leo refuses to Leo XIV refuses to endorse anything to stop it. Oh, it's not right if you go and sexually assault a woman, but he's standing right there, and if he won't step in to stop it, then he's kind of saying it is okay. Or if there's a group beating up an innocent bystander, a pedestrian or something, they get out of a car and beat the snot out of a guy because he's they don't like the way he looks, and Pope Leo says that's wrong, but he's standing there and refuses to and condemns other bystanders who step in to stop it. Then he's tacitly supporting it. Or at least it's not serious enough to do anything about. I'm going to sit here, posture, and preen, but not do anything. So there's lots of that. There's lots of that in my new book. I talk about this sort of thing, which, and it frustrates me. I really do wish I could sit there and give a lecture to a bunch of these fact checkers about, look at what you're doing. Because they don't even realize what they're doing most of the time, I don't think. Because they are in this impenetrable bubble. Seriously, it's mind-blowing how they can't see past it. My book's out there. Just lowered the price in anticipation of the audiobook coming out. Please grab it on Kindle. $5 on Kindle. $15 for paperback. Hardcover still $30, but hey, you want to do the hardcover, do that. That's great too. If this sells, this is the only way. If this can really pick up, tell your friends about it. Don't loan them the book. Make them buy their own. I used to work in a math textbook company, and we published our own. We published math textbooks. I hate used textbooks. From a publishing standpoint, that's how you make your money on the new ones. Don't get a dime of the used ones. So buy a copy. Buy a copy for your friends. Just don't share your own. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to try and pick up on these, get these a little bit more. I do have a fact-checking frauds website that I am working on. For those of you who are really interested in doing a deep dive, I have taken all of those end notes, and there's like 45 pages of end notes. So I bring receipts with everything I've put in this book. If you want to, explore further, look at the end notes, look at the source material. I have arranged so the end notes are all clickable. You can click and go to each website, read each article that I source. So that should be up within the next week. Tell your friends about the book. Follow me on social media, hoystory.substack.com, on X at Hoystory, the Facebook's hoystory.com, YouTube at Hoystory. Follow me. Help me get this off the ground. And that next book, Bullet Train to Nowhere. Going nowhere fast. Come up with the title. Ghost Train's okay for now, for 60 minutes, but there's got to be a better title out there. Thanks for joining me today. Again, buy the book, tell your friends about it, and give me a follow. Thanks for joining me.